Have you ever been immersed in misery and misfortune? The artist I will present to you today went through every possible expression of pain. Author of the finest ever created self-portrait, Frida Kahlo was driven by the passion of Mexican culture and her ideologies. Hi, my name is Shani Espinosa, and today I invite you to spend the next few minutes discussing the early life of the artist Frida Kahlo, her artistic career, and finally, her last days. Let us then begin with her early life. Frida Kahlo was born on July 6, 1907, in Coyoacan, Mexico. Her father was a German descendant, and her mother was an Amerindian Tehuana descendant. When she was only 6 years old, she contracted poliomyelitis, what affected her right leg permanently. Then when she was 18 years old, she got into a traffic accident where a metal bar went through her spine and pelvis. For the recovery, she spent long periods of time by herself, so she started to paint for the first time. Her parents customized her room so she could paint from bed while in her full body cast. Now that we have discussed the early life of the artist, let us then begin with her artistic career. In the year 1929, Frida Kahlo married Diego Rivera, a well-known Mexican painter. According to the documentary series Life's History, Diego Rivera influenced Kahlo's work by adding elements of the Mexican folklore and popular art. A year after they married, they had to move to the US due to Diego's work, and it was while living in Detroit that Frida had her second abortion. This very sad moment made Diego suggest her to paint her own reality if she couldn't come up with what to paint. This is according to FridaKahlo.org. So after this, she did Henry Ford Hospital. The name of this painting comes from the hospital she was in when the abortion happened. We could see the addition of more subjective elements like the floating objects and her open, naked body bleeding in a hospital bed. 3 years after this event, they were now living in New York when she did My Dress Hangs There. This painting is expressing how much she was missing Mexico. It also represents a credit to the capitalism of America and the US and the industrial world the US is evolving in, as well as the decade of human values. She wants the audience to know that only her dress hangs there, but her life belongs in Mexico. Later in the year 1933, they moved back to her country, Mexico, and a few years went by when she returned to New York, but this time as the artist in her first solo international exhibition. Then in the year 1939, she traveled to Paris, where she met a few surrealist artists like Pablo Picasso. Ricardo Halak, a well-known Argentinian dramatist, said in an interview that once Picasso referred to her as the best portrait painter over time. Later in the year 1939, Frida and Diego got divorced, and this sad event made Frida do the painting and masterpiece, The Two Fridas. This painting reflects how lonely she felt after the separation. As we could notice, she is dressed as Tehuana and she is dressed as European. What this means is that besides the fact that she is alone, she's strong enough to remember how connected she feels to her other self and to her origins. We also see more subjective elements like the heart torn open and the veins. A year after they separated, they happily remarried, and Frida started to deal with chronic back pain. She underwent a few failed surgeries, and one of those she portrayed in The Broken Column. This is pure physical pain. We could see that with the tears and how she's comparing her shattered spine with a broken column. She's also expressing and portraying the metal corset she got made for those 9 months of recovery. As we could notice, The artistic life of Frida Kahlo is evolving around her life's events. Let's then take a look at how her last days transcurred. Around the year 1950, Frida Kahlo's health was worsening even more, to the point that her right leg, the one affected by polio, was amputated because she contracted gangrene. Unfortunately, then, on July 13th, 1954, Frida Kahlo passed away. The reported cause of death was a pulmonary embolism, but according to FridaKahlo.org, there are speculations that she committed suicide. To conclude, Frida Kahlo was able to represent the entire discovery of herself in a more intimate way. She was able to transform the subject of pain into a positive outcome, her own art. So let's go to my initial question. If you have been immersed in misery or misfortune, are you going to let that consume you? Or are you going to change your attitude and make something positive out of your situation, like Frida did? Today I have discussed the early life of the painter Frida Kahlo, her artistic career, and her last days. And I hope, like I did, that you learned this life lesson that she taught us today. Thank you.